Misfit Animal Ranch and the Wild Venture Zoo. We're here in the cattery today to discuss cat collars and how to put them on, or how to like adjust that, well, I should say how they should be put on, and the different types of collars that they are. Now this obviously is my own personal opinion, and I'm sure there's a lot more collars out there than what I'm going to show you today, but I just wanted to give you kind of a little bit of an example of what kind of collars there are. So there's pretty much what I would consider like 3 types of collars, and I don't have a collar to represent one of them, so I'm just kind of using a larger just to kind of give you an example. But this would be like a belt type of collar where it actually goes in through and then locks in. So they come in really cute colors and designs and everything. However, they're a little bit dangerous for the animal, and I'll explain to you why. So that's one type, and that's because it's really, really tight. So you've got that type, and then you have ones that clip in, which is kind of similar. And I don't know if you can zoom in or if you're able to see it, either way. And you actually have to push it to release it. These are relatively okay. I actually honestly have some of these for my cats only because I ran out of other collars. Because if they were to pull on them hard enough, they probably can release it. But you do have to click it to release it. But that's the type of collars. And again, they come in great colors and styles, which is awesome because that's when you want to buy them. Then there's these, which are called easy release, or is what I call an easy release. And these just come apart. Now, these are good and bad in different situations. These are the ones that we use in the cattery, and these are the ones I prefer to use at home, simply because if an animal is caught in something, it pops right off. And I'm going to give you an example with my stuffed animal. So imagine you've got your kitty, and your kitty's playing on something and gets caught, and they can't cut out. What's going to happen? They're going to and this is graphic, but they're going to literally hang themselves. With an easy release, they pop right off. So if they get stuck in a fence, and I've had this happen, I have one of my cats who has an easy release collar, and she loses it every couple days because we have a cattery that sits outside of our house, and they go in and out of it. And for some reason, I don't know if she's catching it on the fence or where she's catching it on, but she's catching it on something, or one of our cats will fight with each other, and they'll grab it, and it pops right off. Now, if you did it with one of the other ones, this one's not going anywhere. I mean, your cat is unfortunately hanging. Now imagine it being as tight as it was, and now they can't get out. And so now they're hanging, and it's the same thing with the buckle one, is now you've got this cat that's hanging off of your cat tree because they get stuck on something crazy that you didn't even realize was going to hurt them because they're cats and they'll get into everything, or they jump off a counter and get stuck on a knob or whatever, and now they're hanging themselves, and God forbid you come home to that, because I can only imagine. So that's why we suggest the easy release collar. Now, like I said, they're good and bad, because if you have an outdoor cat, like my cat who gets into things, if they get into branches and get stuck, they're popping it off, they're losing their collar. If they get lost, you have no way of finding them because there's no tag now on them. However, if they do get stuck in those branches, it pops off, it saves their life, and now they're not, dangling somewhere or get stuck in something. Imagine getting stuck in barbed wire or something like that, and they can't get out. We have a kitten that's coming to visit us. So that's my talk about the different kinds of collars and why we suggest the ones that we suggest. Now I'm going to talk about how to put on a collar. I'm probably going to get jumped on. And how to adjust it to make it the right size. I was showing on a kitten, but they're a little bit too tiny. So we're going to show it on Alistair, since Alistair's right here. So this is Alistair's collar. Obviously when you go to put them on, if you go to put it on and it's too tight, you just adjust it. All the collars are the same way. They're adjustable. Everybody knows how to do that. But once it's on the animal, that's my concern. So once you put it on the animal, you want to be able to stick your finger underneath it. His is kind of loose, which is fine because we don't want him to choke anyway, but we also don't want him to catch on anything. So it could, in theory, be tighter. But you don't want it so that it's like this. If you have to squish your finger in, that's really tight. You want to be able to easily put your finger in it, because imagine wearing, I'm going to take this off, buddy. Imagine wearing a choker that you can only get your finger in like that. I mean, that's exactly what it is just put it on yourself and say, oh my God, can you imagine turning and all I can do is get that? But if you can get your finger in like that, that's a much more comfortable choker. We got a cat coming out. It's a much more comfortable collar for you to wear and for them to wear. I mean, imagine moving your head around and it being, squished. So that's just our example of how to put the collar on. You want to make sure you can get your finger easily enough in there. Alistair decided he's going to drink, so we can't put his collar on. We have a visitor kitten. With our kittens, we obviously can't do that because they are so tiny we can't get them. But they're easy release. If she got into a fight or dangled, and no, I'm not choking her. It's not that high up. It's that literally that loose. She can, she'll pop right out, which is a good thing. I love you. So that's my little example of how to put on collars or how to adjust them and make sure that they're not too tight. We get a lot of people who will relinquish their animals to us and they'll leave the collars on and the collar is just so tight or ridiculously loose, and it's the opposite thing. Instead of choking them, it's hanging down so far that they're going to catch it on things. So you want to make it sure it's that perfect medium. You can stick 2 fingers in there, 1 finger in there. You just want to make sure that it's nice and loose enough. And like I said, try it on yourself. I mean, put it on yourself and see how that is. If you grew up in the 90s, you know what it's like to wear a choker. So, yeah, that's just my opinion. And thank you guys for watching our video, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.